to drink, so you will not need to do so and so and so. How, and in the sun, in the tons of preparations, right, to do it, right? And that is for what exactly? For a certificate that says he completed this and he is officially an Iron Man. That's it, right? طيب. We say there is a grand prize that's coming down our way in 7 weeks. Do you think this grand prize, if you want to run the marathon, you need to prepare, and when you want to get the grand prize, you don't want to prepare? To be honest with you, this subject 7 weeks from now will be obsolete. It's not worth it. And the reason, let me just give you a short story first. There's a man that his children, he once sent his children to a very important mission. So he lined them up and he started whipping each one like this. They said, "Father, why are you doing this? We didn't do anything wrong yet." He said, "If you do something wrong and you come back, it will be too late to beat you up. We already have lost. So I would rather beat you now in such a way to remember that this is very important." I'm not going to beat anybody. I'm just saying this man is telling his children it will be too late. Same thing, brothers and sisters. If you really want to have this grand prize, you have to start from today. 6 weeks is enough to get ready for the grand prize. But if you decide for the grand prize the day before Ramadan, think of this. Yes, you're going to be documented that this brother or this sister fasted Ramadan. But that's it. The impact of Ramadan, the way Allah designed it, is a different story. The reward, you're going to get it. But the impact, the change that you're going to enjoy, ولا ضرب على قلبك. Differentiate between you're going to get the reward for Ramadan if you fast Ramadan, and you're going to get the impact the way Allah designed Ramadan for. It's two different stories, right? What is the grand prize that we say? The Prophet say, من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. If you fast Ramadan, inshallah by the end of Ramadan, your slate will be clean, fine. And he was going to give the khutbah once, and he said that in the first step, his member was 3 steps. He said wajabat. Second step, he said wajabat. Third step, he said wajabat. So they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, he said wajabat, and he never said this before. He said, اعترضني جبريل. Jibril obstructed me, and he said, رغم أنف امرئ أدرك رمضان ولم يغفر له. And another narration, ولم يدخل الجنة. What a big loss for a person that Allah gives him Ramadan and does not go to paradise. The other thing is there was 2 brothers, 2 blood brothers, that they became Muslim in the same year. And one of them was an outstanding practicing Muslim. And the other one, the second one, was average. The outstanding died. And the year later, the average died. But Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud saw them in the dream that the one that was average in a higher place in Jannah than the one that was outstanding. So he went to the Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, I saw so and so and so. What do you make out of this? He said, don't you know that he had another extra Ramadan over his brother? Yani another Ramadan that he witnessed put him in a higher place in Jannah. That's why the companion all the time say, Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Allahumma, Ya Allah, make me reach Ramadan. Why they say that way before? And why they keep saying after Ramadan, Allahumma taqabbal minna ya Rabb, accept me Ramadan? Why is that? Because honestly, brothers and sisters, they know what Ramadan means. All right? Why this Ramadan is extremely important, and why should we prepare from now? All right? You cannot go back to the marathon, you cannot go and log in and becomes able to run or walk 20 miles and you just have been doing nothing before. You have to prepare before it, otherwise you will start whatever it is and you're gonna get out of the race sooner than later. طيب, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said سارعوا سابقوا? I give you opportunities. I do not want you to go and be heedless and think it's gonna come and sit in your lap. No, you have to plan and you have to prepare yourself for that. What is so special about Ramadan? Each one of us wants to change. Each one of us wants to change. And it's not easy. We try, but sometimes we fail. And sometimes we do some success and then setbacks, some success and setbacks. And it is not easy one. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, all right, I will help you. All right? What do you want to achieve? And each one of us should ask himself or herself, what do you want to come out of Ramadan? All right? Just forgiven? Just say, Alhamdulillah, I was able to fast Ramadan? Or, Alhamdulillah, I went from this level to that level, and inshallah, I'm not planning to go back like this. Besides, so many of us after Ramadan go back to the same level or even faster or worse. I saw it in Hajj, I saw it in Umrah, I saw it in Ramadan. So many people that goes to a very high level of Iman, and as soon as Ramadan is over or Hajj is over, they have a setback. Why, brother and sister, why this is happening? All right? Think of this. One day in the final in the college, we're supposed to each one to pick a piece of paper, and whatever compound that you get, you have to prepare it. You have 8 hours to come up with a product. I picked the paper and I did everything the way it's supposed to be done. But you know what? I get zero product. And I see people start to leave, and I'm sweating. I'm upset with myself. What did I do wrong? I did everything perfect. So the head of the department walked towards me, and he said one word. Wallahi, one word. And he walked away because he's not supposed to help anybody. He said, inhibitors. Just one word, inhibitors. Inhibitors is like tiny, tiny poisonous material that in the chemicals that stop the reaction from happening, right? So I took this word, I went back to square one, I started getting new raw materials, washed them real good, make sure that there's no impurities, and alhamdulillah, in 1 hour, I have product. What this has to do with what we're talking about? If you want success from Ramadan, remove the impurities first. Remove the inhibitors first. There is inhibitors. What are they? That's what we're going to discuss in a few minutes. But if you really want to come out of Ramadan without any setbacks, say, I want to approach this month with qalbun salim, a sound heart. All right? The scholar says, at-takhliyah qabla at-tahliyah. You have to remove all the ill issues before you think you can put good stuff in it, right? Again, نعم. Again, when Allah designed a camp, you have to understand the following, that Allah is the one who designed. And Allah says, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقْ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ, is the one who created you. Isn't He the one who should know? So Allah is the one who designed the camp. is not anybody else. I saw so many camps for Alcoholics Anonymous. If you want to get rid of being alcoholic or a smoker that you want to stop smoking, they have program, right? So many succeed and so many fails, right? Why this particular camp is designed to be very successful? Look, number one, Allah is the one who designed the camp, and Allah knows more than we do, right? I was listening to Sheikh Tariq Suwaidan, and he was saying that he is into change and all this business issues. So he was saying, in science, that you need 30 days if you want to change from situation A to situation B, right? And then he said, this is what Professor so-and-so said, and Professor so-and-so said, and he says, subhanAllah, we have it, right? The only difference is they had to work hard to reach a certain conclusion, and we don't have to work hard. Why? Because Allah designed it already. Allah said there is 30 days camp, right? And he made a statement that's very interesting. He said, there is people that sleeping in the light, and there is people awake in the darkness. Again, the statement. He's talking about us as a Muslim ummah sleeping in the night, in the light. Means Allah, light means nur. Allah is nur, right? Islam is nur, the Prophet nur, Quran is nur, right? But the ummah is sleeping without knowing what they have, right? And there's others awake in the darkness. They try hard to reach the conclusion that if you do so one thing for 30 days, it will be easy, it will become a habit. If you want to get rid of a habit, don't do it for 30 days and then you will achieve your goal. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, I designed this camp. And every camp requires incentives, right? Look, what do we get in Ramadan? Our enemies are two things, your nafs and the shaitan, right? Shaitan is shackled in Ramadan, right? So what do you have? You have your nafs, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, okay, here's my incentive. Number one, I'm gonna move the shaitan, one of your major enemies, out of the picture. And what comes after this major enemy is I'm gonna make it easy in such a way that in Ramadan, something in the air, make it ibadah is so easy. Yani everybody say, look, I feel something very unusual in Ramadan. I do not know what is it, but I feel light. I feel whatever it is. This is something Allah throws in the air for the Muslim community and only for those who believe in Him to enjoy that kind of atmosphere. The other thing, brother and sister, is when Allah gives you incentives, say like anything that you do in Ramadan, the reward is 70 times as much outside Ramadan. If you give a charity as at $1 in Ramadan, outside Ramadan, as if you give $70 in Ramadan. So the reward is much higher. Type. Why this incentive? Is that all? There's more. He said, you keep trying until in the last odd nights, there's one night is worth of 83 years of ibadah or more, or 1,000 months. This is a big bonus, right? And there's something else in Ramadan which is called Yawm al-Ja'iza, the day of the reward. What is Yawm al-Ja'iza? The hadith is so beautiful. It says, إذا كان يوم الفطر. قاعد يده. He said, if it's the day of the Eid, right? The angels are stationed at the entrance of any road, and they say, Ya ma'shar al-Muslimin. Of course, you cannot hear them. This is the unseen word now, but you have to believe in Hadith Sahih, right? That and they say, Ya ma'shar al-Muslimin, ughdu ila rabbikum. Go for the Eid prayer. إلى ربكم, to your Lord. إلى رب الرحيم, a merciful God. يمن بالخير ويثيب الثواب الجزيل. He grants goodness and He rewards abundantly. Right? أمرتم بقيام الليل. You have been ordered to do قيام الليل. فقمتم. You did. وبصيام النهار فصمتم, and you were ordered to fast the day of Ramadan, and you did. وأطعتم أمر ربكم, and you obeyed your Lord's order, because Ramadan is the only month, the only ibadah that you and Allah knows if you're fasting or not. Nobody knows that you're fasting except you and Allah, right? فَاقْبِضُوا جَوَائِزَكُمْ, and here is your reward. فإذا صلوا العيد, and when you pray the Eid prayer, نادى منادي من السماء, a call from above, from heaven. ارجعوا إلى منازلكم, go back to your homes. راشدين, well guided. قد غفر الله لكم, Allah had forgiven you ذنوبكم كلها, all your sins. ويسمى هذا اليوم في السماء, and this day in the heavens is named the يوم الجائزة, the day of the reward, or the successful reward, right? طيب, you can reach that peak easily in Ramadan, right? But here's the challenge that I want to pose to each one of you. How long the sweet taste will continue with you? A day, a week, and then disappears? You know what? Sometimes I ask myself why Allah designed Ramadan. You know what my answer to myself is? Allah wants you to enjoy halawat al-iman, halawat al-qurb, the sweetness of being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? And wallahi, brothers and sisters, anyone that, inshallah, I hope all of you did, I hope all of you will do it. When you reach the taste, the sweetness of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing in this dunya get closer to this. Nothing, right? If you enjoy the sweetness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wallahi, if there is a main goal in Ramadan is to develop halawat al-qurb, halawat al-iman, the sweetness of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ramadan is designed to make you jump from level A to level B, right? And the shaitan wants to take you from level B to level D, before even below A, right? And that's what you see in the day of the Eid. People are running, say, well, Allah wants us to be happy, and all of a sudden, the family, men and women mingling and whatever it is, and all the beautiful spirit of Ramadan is gone. What we're enjoying is we're enjoying haram get together, right? Shaitan is smart, and extremely smart, and he would not interfere in that time, right? You want less 10 days Ramadan, be my guest, but I'll wait for you in the day of the Eid. That is my opportunity to hit, right? If this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed Ramadan for, no. Allah designed, you tasted the sweetness of the closeness, this is called one jump. I want the rest of your life to be a jump after a jump after a jump, until I give you the biggest jump, which is al-Firdaus al-A'la, highest place in paradise, right? But we have an enemy. Don't take it as if like it's so easy like this. No, we have an enemy. Shaitan works in different levels. Level A, he wants you to be a kafir, straightforward. He doesn't waste time. If he can get you to be a kafir tomorrow, alhamdulillah, to him, not to us. He will be fine, that's it, right? If not, he will go to make you do al-kabair. Al-kabair means the major sins. If he succeeds, if he fails in this, he will go to something else, which is saghair, the minor sins, and he will let you not do it. Saghira, the salah will wipe all the saghair. That's true. Al-Jum'ah ila Jum'ah, remove all the saghair, the minor sins. But you know, brothers, he is smart. He wants you to get used to it, because the scholars say there is no saghira ma israr. There is no saghira ma israr, and there is no kabira ma istighfar. Saghira, as long as you insisting on it, it is kabira. right? Because they say like, don't don't say I'm sinning minor, still like you are sinning against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, against his wishes, right? طيب, if he fails in insisting on a saghir, he will settle for saghir. And then if he fails on that too, he's gonna go to something very interesting. He will make you do something good, but not the better. Because we have good and better and the best, right? So for example, if you're going to visit someone in the hospital, this is extremely good. Shaitan will say to her, يا أخي تعال صلي ركعتين مع الشباب. No, زيارة المريض, a higher place, right? So what he has in his mind is, instead of this person going to the الفردوس الأعلى, I'll just get him in a lower level, and that will be my success, right? So you have an enemy that is not going to leave you until your soul leaves the body. He still will be interfering at that moment, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, like, I'm your Lord. You come into me. I'm going to design this month to give you the big boost to enjoy so-called al-irgham. Al-irgham means like you put his nose in the arghamu, yani put his nose in the ground. The shaitan. I want you to succeed. I want to conquer him, right? So when that camp comes in and you are not ready for it, you find yourself a week after week after week, and it is gone, and I don't feel it. I didn't feel Ramadan. This year I didn't feel anything, right? Because you didn't prepare. It's just fair. If you don't prepare, you're not going to feel that much, right? طيب. Let us see if you really want, if you're serious about changing, then there are certain procedures, right? You are now in a certain state, and you want to reach a different state, right? So you have to put a list. I'm going to give you some hints and say which one applies to you. I'm not going to go in details, just to give you the headlines and say, yes, I have. You don't have to raise your hand. Just say to yourself, I have that. Alhamdulillah, I don't have that. I have that. Right? Do you feel personally that you so-called your chest is tight, you're so easy to be irritated, right? Shabab, inshallah, leave the phones now. I really want you to, inshallah, to get the grand prize of Ramadan. So, if you see that I'm too impatient, I've tightness in my chest, I'm so easy to jump, I'm so easy to be irritated, just put that on the side and say, I have a problem. Second thing is, when you feel like you drag your feet in anything that's good, as I said, visiting a sick, volunteering, anything in a masjid or whatever, any good deed, if you just drag your feet, just put another strike against yourself, right? If you find yourself so stingy when it comes to doing anything for Allah, giving money to the poor in Yemen and here and there, whatever it is, this kind of stinginess is a sign of al-bukhala, that the stingy people, they have a problem in our deen, right? And in the meantime, you're so fast to spend in any pleasurable things, going to a football game, going to a movie, restaurant, whatever, any activity, right? It's so easy to spend money on this, right? That is another strike if you have that. So, when you are in the car, if you turn the Quran and then after 1 minute you shut off. Why? I just feel I want to listen to a song or some music, right? If Quran irritates you, put another strike. I have a problem. If you after the salah raise your hand, say Allahumma ighfir wa lidul muslimin, alhamdulillah, and get up, it's something wrong. Why? It means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not interested in you making dua. He is not inspiring you because you have a lousy heart that needs to be worked on, right? when you find yourself indulged in physical pleasures and you cannot get satisfied, there's a hole inside you, right? This addiction, it could be into lousy websites or YouTube videos, or even TikTok or all this stuff. If you find yourself into this one, ما اسمه يعني؟ TikTok طيب. If you find yourself deep into this, right, this is a problem and you have to be aware of it. If you see your priorities are mixed up, what is very important is on the side. You might be doing something that is, for example, now, if you say, inshallah, this Ramadan, I really want to change, I want to paint the living room. In Ramadan, want to do it before or after, right? But if you find yourself focusing on doing certain project, which is not haram, but you know what, it's less important. It can wait, for example, right? And in general, you have something that's priority A, priority B, and you go B first and the A later. That means there's something wrong with your something wrong with your iman, right? The next one is procrastination. Everything, inshallah, tomorrow. Inshallah, when I come back from the Umrah, inshallah. Allah doesn't inshallah this way. Allah doesn't like it this way. How do you know that you have tomorrow, right? But this is a sign that your iman is suffering. And the next one is the nature, the quality of friends that you have, right? If you're picking friends that push you away from Allah, lousy friends, then you have a problem, right? The smart person is the one that his system rejects any friend that take him down, right? And the smart person is the one that has his eye onto any brother or sister that تفضل طيب you just need to ask yourself, what kind of friends that I like to be around, right? Because this is a gauge where is your heart is. If you want someone that keep backbiting and someone that is giving bad jokes and all the stuff, then it's something, and you love that, this is a problem. Another gauge, if you find yourself hating anything about this, right? You go to the cemetery to say goodbye to a brother or sister that passed away. If you find yourself, go to the cemetery, you don't want to see anything, you want to look at the other side. And I went to a cemetery in another state, and it's not non-Muslims. And when it's time to put the body in the ground, everybody looked in the other direction. I was the only one who looked to the person, right? As if it doesn't exist, right? My neighbor passed away a few months ago, and his children were sitting in the kitchen, and as the funeral home is taking his body out, they all pretended that nothing, right? Why? This is a sign that there is something sick in the heart, right? But when you find yourself, your feeling towards Ramadan is not good, you're not happy that Ramadan is coming, that's bad news. Because so many people said, like, I don't know how we're going to do it. My life is upside down. I woke up before Fajr to eat. I don't want to even eat. I مش عارف ايه, and I get headache عشان الcoffee, مش عارف, all the stuff. That's a bad sign, all right? And even when you find yourself, up to about the past years, so happy that Ramadan is over, a bad sign. And I had a chance to sit down with some brothers last year, the year before, and in the last night of Ramadan, and some of them were crying because there's no suhoor, right? Because some of them are homeless, right? They want to have suhoor. What happened is, I was asking them, how do you feel? Some of them had tears in their eyes because Ramadan is over. Not for the food, for the beautiful time in the masjid and this kind of thing, right? But two of them say, Alhamdulillah, because I really missed the donuts and مش عارف إيه. Yeah, alhamdulillah that Ramadan is over, right? That is, of course, they are teenagers. I'm talking about adults who said, alhamdulillah, Ramadan is over, now we can have مش عارف إيه. طيب. When you find your attitude toward the salah, when the time comes in, your attitude is dragging your feet. مش عارف, I still have something on the stove, I cannot pray now عشان الحلة هتشيط. The thing is gonna burn. Or I'm watching this game is almost over, it's another half an hour and it will be over. If you find yourself, salah has to be postponed for anything, just put a question mark on your iman. طيب. The next one is, there is no barakah in your time. You woke up until you go to sleep, you do not know what you did. The day is gone, right? I didn't do anything. That's a sign that there's something wrong with your iman, right? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah in your time if your heart is sound with Him. Your productivity is very low, and the time to waste on entertainment is, bismillah, mashallah, very good. You never miss it. Type. Number 11 is your attitude towards your parents. Your parents, regardless if they're dead or alive, right? Just, this is a litmus paper. What kind of son are you, right? That determines also where your iman is. Because after La ilaha illallah, وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا قَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Allah has decreed to worship nobody but Him. And immediately after La ilaha illallah, be extra kind to parents. Type. Number 12, you get your nose in things that doesn't concern you. Oh, what did she say? Oh, did you see this guy? Baba, you keep digging on something waste. It's not your business, right? And you enjoy gossip and this kind of thing. This is another sign that your heart is sick, right? And speaking about others, so easy to speak about others, even though that's one of the things that dumps so many people on their faces in hell, right? عدم تحري الحلال والحرام. يعني, for example, you're going to eat in the restaurant, there is something, like a piece of meat looks pinkish. You don't say, hey, is this pork? No, inshallah, say bismillah, right? That is another sign that you don't care about halal and haram, right? I'm going fast because we have two more. You don't do any job that you don't do it with perfection to the best of your ability, right? Especially if your boss is not monitoring. That's another sign that your iman is weak, right? And if you promise, you don't fulfill the promise. You promise easily, but you easily not to do it, right? That's another bad. And the last one is, there is others, but this is my list. You have no feeling of responsibility towards the ummah and the deen, right? You don't feel like I don't have any responsibility towards my deen or my ummah or my masjid or whatever it is, just like it's me and only me, right? How we gonna start switching from this and use Ramadan as one of the great tools to straighten our act, inshallah? The first thing that you have to do, and put 10 lines underneath, is tawbah. You sincerely look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, say, Ya Allah, I'm sorry. You have to, tawbah is basically remorse and regret, stopping and determination not to go back to it. This is tawbah. Simple, right? But don't forget that you're talking to someone that knows what's in your heart. Don't give him lip service. تُبْنَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرْجَعْنَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَنَدِمْنَا عَلَى مَا فَعَلْنَا وَعَزَمْنَا عَلَى أَلَّا نَعُودَ. This is the tawbah. No, but this is your tongue. Where's your heart? Are you really determined? This is number one. After, what comes after this is easy, but this is the real thing, all right? And here's the good news. Hadith say, إِذَا تَابَ الْعَبْدِ تَوْبَةً نَصُوحًا. If the person made a clear, sincere tawbah, نادى منادي من السماء. someone from heaven calls. He says, إن فلانا قد اصطلح مع ربه. This person has made up with his Lord. اصطلح. They were at odds with each other, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now he's اصطلح مع ربه. If you make the tawbah, right? Then the first thing is التوبة, right? What is after the tawbah? Anybody can help me? You immediately start. Start what? A plan. How? The plan is personal. There is no plan for everybody. Number one, each one of us will write down from this list, what do I have? I have number 1 and number 5 and number 8 and this is what I have. This is my problem, right? This is my commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inshallah, that I will use these days to prepare in such a way when I slide in Ramadan, I slide from the high gear, not someone who's still trying to find us is Ramadan or not, and by the end of Ramadan, inshallah, I will have already tasted the sweetness of Iman and no desire whatsoever to go to haram or to have anything that displeases Allah anymore, right? When you look at something haram, isn't it fun? It is. If a brother looks at a sister walking with her body, yes, there is enjoyment there. But you know what? If you drop this for Allah, Allah says like, "Man tarakaha makhafati abdaltuhu imanan tajidu halawatahu fi qalbi." If you drop this kind of gaze to the wrong person, for Allah, Allah will replace you with iman that you feel the sweetness in your heart, right? If this is just one thing, but how about you dropped your food for Ramadan, you dropped any relationship with a spouse, you dropped drinking, you dropped backbiting, you dropped so many things, right? And you enjoyed it, all right? You enjoyed it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, like, okay, now you enjoyed it. I want you came to me with a clear inside. Now I want you to continue after Ramadan, even though your ibadah after Ramadan is not going to be the same in Ramadan. That's normal. That's not means that you have a setback. No one can maintain Ramadan like this, right? But you don't go to haram anymore. You might have less ibadah, but not haram. No kabair, nothing of this nature. No backbiting. No any of these things that I made. Khalas, this is kabair. We don't want to get into it, right? There's a brother that lost 20 pounds, right? And he was telling me, you do not believe how I feel. And wallahi, I want you to listen to this. He said, you do not believe how I feel after this. I feel light, I feel energetic, I feel like even my comprehension is much better. بس يلا لا ده بيت طيب فهير he is so happy and he said, subhanallah, I told my wife, he is saying that I told my wife that how I did not do this long time ago. And you know what? After tasting that thing, that's it. I would never go back to this kind of weight. I will keep until I become inshallah ibda. That's what we want to achieve for Ramadan. I want you to taste the beauty of being close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that's not going to happen overnight unless we start planning from now. You put a list of all the things that I mentioned. Where do you stand with all this? And then start saying, here's my plan. Tawbah and. طيب. After Tawbah, make sure that you keep say, Ya Allah, help me. Ya Allah, I am coming. I definitely coming. I want to be with you. I want to be reach the point that you are content and pleased with me. Right? So help me. Right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your heart. If he sees sincerity, he will help. And he says, Sheikh Radwan, من تقرب إلي شبرا تقربت إليه ذراعا. If you come to me that much, I'll come to you that much. If you come to me walking, I'll come to you hurrying. All right? فالله سبحانه وتعالى is waiting. All right? Waiting. And he is, يعني, your boss at work is waiting for you to make a mistake. Allah is waiting for you to make any effort. And as I said to some of the halaqat, I asked one of my kids to clean the yard. I didn't mean to do it at noon time in the summer. I meant later on. But he took my request, and he went, and I saw him cleaning the yard. He was about 10 years old, whatever, cleaning the yard, and he's sweating, whatever it is. And when I saw him trying this, I went and said, like, stop, I'm helping you, but not now, right? And I just wanted to hug him and just love him. He's trying to please his father, right? So when you show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala something, he's going to come towards you much more intense, and this is the nature of Allah. You come to me that much, I come to you that much. You come walking, I come hurrying. This is the way it is, right? Think of this. So dua after tawbah, extremely important in that approach. Right. There is 1 second. So if you want to go from situation A that you are in, situation B that you want to be in, there's 3 stages. Tark, فعل, تنمية. Tark, you have, this is situation A, astaghfirullah al-azim. And this situation B, right? You want to leave this and to go to this, right? What you should do first is go to this first or leave this one first. This one. Yes, you have to leave situation A first, right? Why? Because if you keep ma'asi, disobedience in your heart, and you say, I'm going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah, Allah will help you, but that's not what He wants. He wants to say to إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ, the one who comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound, clean heart, right? And He says, if you do something, right, and you still have partners, the partners not necessarily Sayyidina Isa or whatever it is. No, partners could be your shahawat, your desires, right? He said that I have no need for your business. Keep it for yourself. أنا أغنى الشركاء عن الشرك. I really have no need for partners. But if you come to me with a clean heart, then ما وسعتني أرضي ولا سمائي ولكن وسعني قلب عبد المؤمن. My heaven and earth was not big enough to accommodate me, but the heart of my servant was enough to accommodate me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala worked this way. طيب. يبقى the reason that we have setbacks is we did not approach Ramadan with a clean heart. We did not empty it from the impurities. You remember my reaction, the inhibitors? Yeah, that would be something to consider. طيب. The third thing is al-irada. Al-irada means the will, the strong will. Yes, I will do it. Yes, I know who my target is, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My target is to go away from anything that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I have the strong will. I'm not wimp. I'm not weak, right? This will, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at it and says, like, I'm going to enhance it. اللي هي والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا. If you put the effort in my direction, I'm going to help. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not help without you putting efforts. Let me ask you this. The distance between Mecca and Medina is how many kilometers? 500 kilometers. About that, right? Half of it, Sayyidina Muhammad was on his feet, and the other half was on the animal. Don't you think Allah was capable of getting an angel to take him from Mecca to Medina in a second, like Isra wal Mi'raj? He could have done it, but he's teaching us something. Even my beloved Prophet, even the greatest human being on earth, he has to put the efforts. He has to prepare himself. Sayyidina Muhammad did all the preparation to not to be caught. اللي هي الأخذ بالأسباب. Right? This is clear? When you think of I am going in that direction, and I need to study. I need to, يعني, for example, I'm wasting so much time on internet. If you tell me stop tomorrow, that's not wise. Give me alternative, and you give yourself an alternative. Don't say I'm gonna stop internet tomorrow. No, what exactly your alternative, right? For example, I'm gonna get involved in the masjid. I'm gonna get into physical fitness and take care of my health from Shafi'i. I'm gonna devote some times to teaching in summer school or weekend school give yourself alternative. Otherwise the plan will fail because you cannot say, here's my phone. I'm not gonna look at it like this. You can do that for an hour or half an hour, but eventually you will look at it, right? This is you want your plan to succeed, give alternative. You want to go from, I told you the shaitan has 6 stages that he gonna, every round, if he falls in this, he goes to this, he falls in this, he goes to this. If you find yourself saying, this brother that just passed away a few days ago, Brother Amo Fikry, anybody knows him? All right. Brother Amo Fikry, I know him since he came to America 40 some years ago. Wallahi, this man never stopped doing something for Allah. I'm not getting into his niyyah. All I know is any kind of Islamic activity, he is behind organizing it. Any kind of trying to coordinate among the Muslim community, the Pakistani, the African American, the Arabs, the مش عارف ايه, Brother Muhi, to the point that every community in the grave said, we thought he is part of our community. Every community said he is part of our community. And he يعني, astaghfirullah, I'm saying to that he used to keep behind after me. He wants me to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I not answer the phone. I wasn't the only one. Sheikh Qatai said the same thing. Everybody said the same thing. He was a powerhouse, right? And now he is resting. Khalas. All this kind of, the person that filled New Jersey with activity, astaghfirullah, like Sayyidina Ibrahim walked from Iraq to Palestine, to Masr, Iraq, Palestine, Mecca, all this stuff, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, his footprints in behind the Kaaba, pray behind it. Because this is his legacy. This is what I want you to understand. So we say like, Ya Rab, and my goal in Ramadan is to be yours, just one of your workers, all right? I don't want to be just a good person. What is your definition of a good person? Look at the ayah. The ayah defines what a good person is. He said, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ وَبِهَذَا أُمِرْتُ. What does that mean? My salah, my tenets, my life, my death is for Allah, and that's how what I have been ordered. Isn't Sayyidina Muhammad our best example, right? You know what? When he takes advantage of Ramadan, Sayyidina Aisha, his wife, says, when the last 10 days comes in, كأنه لا يعرفنا ولا نعرفه, as if he doesn't know us and we do not know him. He is not Sayyidina Muhammad anymore, right? What happened is, I want to be. When it was her night, and he said, can you allow me to get up to do tahajjud? She said, I miss you, but I love what you love. Do it, right? So think of this. This is the man that guaranteed the highest place in paradise. And he reached the point of says, أَفَلَا أَكُونُ عَبْدًا شَكُورًا. He's telling Sayyidina Aisha,
don't you think I should be عبد شكور, يعني a thankful, appreciative slave? Why is that? Because Salah became enjoyment. It became fun. Being to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making sujood and having tears, all this became fun for him. And that is what Ramadan, wallahi, is designed to do. It's designed to you to reach the point of enjoying the halal and detesting the haram, enjoying the closeness and detesting the being away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Ramadan is all about, right? So what should we do in this coming 7 weeks? Basically, be honest with yourself and put all the things that you want to change, right? And then put what do you want to be? Where do you want to go from there, right? And what is the plan, right? So, for example, if you have poor salah, if your salah is just Allah, salah, Allah, Muhammad, Allah, Akbar, Allah, Akbar, and there is empty, right? Say, inshallah, inshallah, not in Ramadan, now I'm gonna start making my salah as if I'm talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Ramadan comes in, I'm not just taking advantage of Ramadan to know how to make salah or how to devote to get my heart to be present in the salah. No, from now I'm gonna excuse me, work on my salah, right? Type your attitude towards the immediate family. You're so nice outside. When you come home with the wife or the husband or the children or the neighbor, whatever it is, you're so uptight, right? Say, no, that's not me, right? Inshallah, khalas, this is my part of my plan. It is, and you keep adding and put this, and then here's my way. That's what I'm gonna do, right? Wallahi, brothers and sisters, if you start showing Allah sincere niyyah, making dua, Allah help me. I know it's a big task, but I can do it. With your help, I can do it. And you do tadarru', Ya Allah, don't leave me by my own. لا تكلني إلى نفسي طرفة عين. Don't be my own. And you start the steps. Wallahi, it will be Allah's hand that's gonna say, Ta'ala, come. You whine, and you will see it. And then when you slide into Ramadan, you start not trying to get better, no, enjoying being better. And when you're enjoying something for 1 month, you don't want to let go. But يعني if you have been, I was telling Sister, if you like the Pakistani mango, if you taste it one time, you forget. But if you taste for a whole month, you don't want to let go, because Pakistani mango is so delicious, right? If you taste the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahi, you would know. But you have to start from now. You have to start from now. So this next 7 weeks will assume this is Ramadan level and this is where you are. Keep every week going like this, until Ramadan comes in. You slide in that high level, right? And say, instead of Ramadan helping me to be better, no, I am enjoying Ramadan. I'm already enjoying the sweetness of Ramadan. Not say, I have a headache because of the coffee. No. Start from now, right? And now, where is Sheikh Ahmed? Fadal, any question or comment? The floor is open. Oh, I forgot to tell you the treatment, how to solve the problem. I told you the symptoms of the problem quickly. Or should I wait until somebody asks? Sheikh Ahmed. Go ahead. Type. Here's prescription number 1. Radwan, I'm not going to see half the audience. Inshallah, حيروح الجنة. طيب, quickly, what is the remedy, right? Number 1, الذكر والدعاء والاستغفار وتكرار التوبة. First one, ذكر. The Prophet said, keep your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah. When you are in a state of dhikr, shaitan cannot be around you, right? The Prophet said, yafir, once he says, astaghfirullah, subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, he cannot be around you. الدعاء يا رب يا رب يا رب استغفر الله استغفر الله. How can you you say astaghfirullah and you look at haram? You're not going to do that, right? And then when you get weak, another tawbah, and you keep doing tawbah. Sayyidina Muhammad, the highest person ever, he said, I do tawbah 100 times a day, right? So it's like, type. For men, you try to pray Fajr and Isha in the masjid, right, to the best of your ability. It has a tremendous impact. Number 3, push yourself to be consistent with daily ritual of the Quran. Don't let a day go by without Quran. Quran has a mysterious impact on each one of us. Some of us would not even understand what that means, but trust me, if you have a daily contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book, you will see the difference, right? Especially if you take one ayah and say, let me explore the meaning of this ayah. Let me go in depth what this ayah means, right? Little by little, you develop the love connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, majalis al-ilm, anytime there's a class, there is this and that, go join, right? There's barakah. Wallahi, 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 there's angels sitting in this lab now. Yeah, right now, there's angels in this room, right? And in the beginning, when you start a relationship with the Quran, it will be difficult because there's still barriers, right? But after a little while, it will be lifted and the enjoyment will start. The enjoyment of being in close contact with Allah's book will start, right? And when you get it, personal experience. I love Sheikh Sha'rawi. You know him? You do? طيب. Actually, the one who says yes, who is the one who doesn't know, right? But to make a long story short, every time I open the book and listen to Sheikh Sha'rawi, I say, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless his soul. May Allah grant him the highest blessing in paradise. So he got dua from me 10 times, as much as my father. But you know what? He earned it, but also the reason I make a dua for him, because what he says make me enjoy the sweetness of the Quran. Right? Type. The next one is spending. Even $10, whatever little, right? Just spend. Why? Because this will take the stinginess out of you. And وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَقَدْ فَازَ. The one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shielded him from this stinginess, he is a winner, right? Type. Number 4, what kind of friends that you have. Please, if your friend is pulling you away from Allah, dump him or dump her, right? And don't say, Wallahi, I'm the only access to this person to Islam. Look, you care about yourself first. You care about yourself first. Don't worry about the world. You make sure that you are, Wallahi, at work, I'm making da'wah to this girl. No, habibi. Just don't worry about her. Why? Because shaitan is there. So make sure that choosing the friends, we said choosing a friend, and weekly halaqat, right? We have more time for halaqat. If anybody wants to join halaqat, you can either leave your name with Sarah or Asma or with Brother Nail, right? Inshallah, we can accommodate you. Number 4, اختيار الأصدقاء. To choose a friends, dump any friend. Adam, ركز معايا. Dump any friend that pulls you away from Islam, that you feel weak when you're around him, right? But if you spot someone that say, like, I want to be friendly with this guy, when I'm with him, I feel I'm a better Muslim, please, go ahead. Number 5, not to do good deeds, no. Jump fast if there's any opportunity for good deeds. Why? The Quran says, سابقوا سارعوا استبقوا يعني rush to it, run to it if there's a good deeds, right? سابقوا race if there's استبقوا, don't let anybody beat you to it. So when you see any good thing, don't think a lot, because the shaitan is waiting for you to start thinking, to get in, to tell you يا أخي والله ما في داعي لتضييع وقت, that's gonna waste your time, مش عارف روح البيت اعمل اطبخ, يعني it will tell you anything not to do it, صح؟ يبقى the moment you feel there's خير, jump to it fast and don't think a lot. طيب. Number 6, stop procrastination. You do not know if you have tomorrow. None of us is guaranteed to go home. So anytime there is something to be done, do it now. Tomorrow you have another set of problems, right? So don't say inshallah tomorrow, inshallah next week, inshallah لما ما فيش. Don't procrastinate. Number 7, try to visit the cemetery. Go look for someone that born in the same age, same year and same month like you. Sit down in front of him and keep making dua for the person, right? And think of yourself in this place, right? If you can take part on washing any brother's body or sister's body, it would be great, right? I remember one brother came to me when we were a long time ago in Jersey City. I said, look, I want to divorce my wife. I said, why? He said, she doesn't want hijab, she is مش عارف ايه وبتاع. And one of their best friend passed away. She got a heart attack. So we told him, just let her, tell her, Fikry said, we need an extra hand to wash the sister. Can you help us? She said yes, and she came out of the thing, not only want to be muhajjaba, want to be munaqqaba. She got so scared, right? Because يعني, visiting the cemetery, visiting the grave, and they start reflecting is, and the Prophet said, كَفَى بِالْمَوْتِ وَعِظًا. Sufficient of a reminder is death, right? Number 8, which is very important, don't feel a loser when you have a setback in your attempt. No, keep trying. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like I told you with my child, when he was trying hard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking at you with love. He's not looking at you to make a mistake, say like, you're doomed, you're a loser, I don't want you anymore. No, keep trying. Someone asked the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, how many times you can say make tawbah and then have a setback, and then make tawbah and then have a setback? He said, Inna Allah la yamalla hatta tamallu. Allah will never be bored with you until you're bored with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until you tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, I'm not going to try again. That's not good, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, keep trying. He is a million times, Imam Hassan al-Basri said, I learned something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from a child, how to deal with Allah. A child that his mother opened the door and she threw him out. And he kept crying and saying, Ma, please open the door. Ma, I would never do it again. Ma, مش عارف ايه بتاع, right? ولا آدم ركز يد معانا. استغفر الله. Ma, مش عارف ايه, Ma, and she ignored him. And finally, he put his head on the door, and she looked from the keyhole, and she saw him like this. Ma, أنا مش عارف. She opened the door and she hugged him and said, you don't do it again, right? Hassan al-Basri said, I learned I have to keep knocking on Allah's door. I have to keep trying. One after the other, He will never be bored with you and say, look, I don't want you anymore, you're a loser. Number 9, when you go to sleep, take a minute to go over what you have done during the day. Just سموها المحاسبة. المحاسبة means accountability. What did I do today? And what I'm planning to improve. Today my salah really stinks. I was heedless. I was مش عارف ايه. Today I مش عارف looked at this. Today and be honest with yourself and say, inshallah tomorrow it's not going to happen. Inshallah tomorrow كذا وكذا. طب كفاية كده عشان that's too much. She's going to put you to sleep. طب Sheikh Ahmed,
Sure.
تفضل.
Okay, so I think so far we only have one question. So if you do want to ask, please do. But I think we're kind of running late anyway, so if we don't get too many, it's probably not that big of a deal, right? But the phone number is 201 771 2753. That's 201 771 2753. Okay, so the first question is, how should one deal with a father that's always negative and yelling?
Deal with what?
A father that's always negative and
Yeah.
yelling.
Yeah. Look, each one of us will be tested one way or the other. You're going to be tested with a child. You're going to be tested with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not test you based on your choices. My mother is this, my father is this, my son is this, my mish'arif is that. Allah, no one will be choosing his own test, right? يعني didn't Sayyidina Muhammad was tested in all his children, all of them, he buried them with his own hands, right? Except one, right? It's a test. Wasn't he injured and مش عارف ايه, wasn't he not listened to? Was they put the intestine, the rotten intestine of a camel on his head when he's in the Kaaba? Sayyidina Muhammad did not have one day without being tested. And we say he is our best example. You're going to be tested. But the good news is the reward is proportional with the difficulty. If your father is negative and so hard to deal with, and you're so nice to him, your reward is so high too. Look at what the Quran says. وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَى أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي. If your parents are kafir, not only kafir, they're putting pressure in you to become kafir. Don't be a kafir, but be kind and gentle. صاحبهما في الدنيا معروفة, right? So you're telling me your father is مش عارف ايه, is a bit difficult. So what? Get extra credit. Get a higher place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, حاضر يابا. تعب شاف ايه. Allah, and I saw when I was in Egypt, this young man that his mother was a little bit off. And in front of us, she took off her ship or slipper and hit him. And متأسف يما مش عارف إيه بتاع. And just like, what else can you get from a mother hitting her, a teenager in front of his friends, and it's just like very humiliating. هذا يما, I'm sorry, I'm مش عارف إيه بتاع. So tell the son, please, Allah is testing you, but the reward depends how harsh the test, how high the reward will be. يبتلى المؤمن على قدر إيمانه. If Allah put you in a higher test, trust me, He's going to give you a higher reward. And to be honest with you, in this dunya, you say, Alhamdulillah for a million tests, because that will give me the higher place in paradise. All right? Don't complain about it.
All right, Jazakallah khair, Amo. That's still the only question now, so I think everybody's kind of ready for the social part, I think. So, do you want to comment? Amo, I don't know if you want to say any more words before Nate takes.
Father.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Amo Fikry. So now we have the social part of the night. So inshallah we have games for the brothers downstairs. There's ping pong tables, there's other games downstairs, and please help yourself to some refreshments. Jazakumullah khair for coming.
And the sister, we're going to go where?
The sisters will stay upstairs inshallah, and the brothers will be downstairs.
Yalla, everybody move downstairs. Yalla. معروفة؟ طب يلا. Who was asking a question? Somebody was asking a question?